EMI and course materials used specific by Japanese university teachers. I am Dr. Yaoko Matsuoka from University of People, and Dr. Hiroyuki Ida is from Josai University in Japan. This presentation has introduction, explanation, and findings of the questionnaire, discussion, and conclusion. So in Japanese higher education, English as a foreign language, or EFL, courses are encouraged to adopt English medium instruction, or EMI, as much as possible to foster students' English language competence. In Japan, where English is not spoken at all, so university English courses not only work as skill acquisition opportunities, but also play roles similar to the content subject that teach specific knowledge, such as history and literature. Japanese universities have only few EMI content courses, and most of them are targeting students from overseas countries or a few advanced Japanese learners who intend to polish their English skills, not to learn the content. Although the term EMI is often defined as teaching subjects other than the English language, this study applies the broad definition of EMI and focuses on EMI in EFL course. Specifically, the teacher's use of EFL materials, since this topic has not been discussed much. Our previous research on EFL course materials in 2021 shows that students expect inexpensive, authentic EFL materials that can broaden their learning and enhance usability. OER was suggested as one alternative to paper textbooks. OER refers to the resources that resides in the public domain or have been released under license that permits their free use by others. For the background knowledge, Japan has a system of providing school textbooks free for compulsory education, and so both teachers and students are familiar with paper textbooks. And historically, important public reports rely significantly on paper documents. This study investigates the Japanese university teachers' perception of selecting and using EFL course materials in EMI settings. EMI in teaching English needs more explorations in relation to EFL materials. We conducted an online questionnaire in late 2022 to 18 Japanese university teachers of English, including 5 males and 13 females, on their insights into using course materials, followed by a later Zoom interview session. The questionnaire included choice questions and free comments. To analyze the data, quantitative data was simply aggregated, while qualitative data were interpreted according to the content of the text. The study followed approved procedures for research ethics and informed consent. For the multiple choice question about the course materials they used, all teachers selected paper textbooks, and 28% chose digital textbooks. Many of them also chose teacher-made materials, including 89% for the paper-based ones and 50% for the digital. In addition, others included internet-based content, YouTube videos such as TED Talks, commercially published books, newspaper articles, and journal articles. At the same time, OER was chosen by only one teacher. I'll show you findings from the free comments, including some excerpts in blue. The questionnaire asked teachers to write free comments on their perception and thoughts about using course materials to develop students' English language competence. The result shows, first, many Japanese teachers are generally satisfied with existing textbooks. So this result is understandable because textbooks of Japanese publishers partially include explanations in L1 Japanese to enhance students' understanding, and accompany a teacher's manual with answer keys and L1 explanation, which may benefit Japanese teachers of English. As I explained earlier, so they have preference and familiarity with the paper materials, and this tendency may underpin these results. The second point is that many teachers want materials that foster students' autonomy. So here is a comment. So I need something that helps students develop thinking skills and independent learning. I want materials that encourage autonomy. If learners need to learn choosing materials from a broader range of selections by themselves to become more global, independent, and autonomous. For instance, Fine and Reed describe the flexible nature of OER and suggest it may support expanding the learning possibility, but the teacher's recognition of OER was low, according to our research. Third, materials that promote thinking skills and communication were suggested by many participants. So some want to add more activities that develop higher order thinking skills, and others want to incorporate pragmatic elements, and not just language knowledge. So teaching pragmatic knowledge is variable because students learn how English expressions, for example, modals, function in different contexts. EMI in teaching English will work ideally in such a situation to develop student critical thinking skills and communication competence. So L2 instruction or L2 description to the authentic materials may have significant benefits. So according to Cook, so authentic materials stimulate the students' motivation and interest. Some participants suggested integration with technology. So personally, I sometimes show related videos for a few minutes during the introduction of each topic. So I want more video materials in the course materials to enhance students' background knowledge. So in addition to the reliance on paper textbooks, the teachers need more technology-based and digitized materials to support learning and teaching in L2. So this trend is gradually growing after the pandemic in Japan. If used appropriately, so videos and LMS apps and other software will help teachers to conduct courses in English. In the 21st century knowledge society, according to Garrison, so where critical thinking and discussion are the cornerstones, technology and e-learning and education help learners to learn in a deeper and more meaningful way. So Stone in 2022 also suggests that videos and other forms of interaction were more effective than text alone teaching in the distance on-demand education. So fifth, teachers need materials tailored for classroom needs. So when using any textbook, we need to make some extent of adjustments based on the interests and proficiency of the students in the class. So many teachers suggest that they need to adapt materials to fit the student needs and levels and make the contents more understandable for every student. According to the notion of adaptation by McDonald and Shaw, personalizing means relating the content of the material to individual needs. Individualizing means taking into account the learning styles of individual learners and the whole class. Localizing means adapting the content to the country or region where it is used. Modernizing means keeping up with the types. So L1 support will be promoted in the process of adaptation, especially in the process of localizing materials. So lastly, many teachers concerned about the transformation or future change of the teaching materials and instructional styles. So they worry that expensive and heavy paper textbook may not be suitable for students today. So one teacher even states that the ordinary go to school and attending the class format might disappear in the future, so though not immediately. So they also think the widespread of AI tools may change the style of teaching and teaching materials. So we need to continue to look at this aspect from now on. To summarize the presentation, so far, many Japanese teachers are generally satisfied with existing textbook with L1 support. They want materials that foster student autonomy and English communication skills and hope more technology integration to instruction. They organize and use handmade supplemental materials to adjust content to the class needs. Teachers use their handmade materials to supplement the teaching content. So they make necessary adaptation of the materials, including the L1 support, especially for lower proficient learners. At the same time, teachers notice that paper textbooks have become unsuitable and insufficient for current and future learning. A follow-up interview shows that even in the case of the high-level Japanese university EFL course, L1 Japanese is used at about 30% in the whole lecture to make students fully understand the content and practice English. So in conclusion, so this study focused on the teacher's perception of instructional materials in English medium EFL classes in Japanese universities. Although online learning has become more common after the pandemic, Japanese teachers have rigid reliance on paper textbooks, which generally provide first language explanation. In all the aspects found in the questionnaire, a need for L1 support is the key for the successful EMI teaching in Japan. So for instance, we see L1 explanation in textbooks and L1 support added in the teacher-made submaterials adapted to the classroom needs. When selecting teaching materials, Japanese EFL teachers seem to consider supplementing them with L1 to make their students understand the content sufficiently. Although the governmental policy encourages complete EMI settings, there is a gap between the policy and the teaching in universities in Japan. Thank you for listening.